Look, I love a good Aperol Spritz as much as the next person, but let's be honest, they're everywhere. Every rooftop bar, every Instagram feed, and every basic summer gathering. But don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with the classic. But if you're ready to level up your Aperol game and impress your friends with something they've never tried before, then you're in the right place. Today I'm sharing 5 incredible Aperol cocktails that are way more interesting than your standard spritz. We're talking about drinks that'll make you completely forget about that orangey prosecco combo. But trust me, once you try these, you'll have the courage to try something completely new with Aperol. So grab your shaker, grab your Aperol, and let's get into it. Let's kickstart things with the Acre Bird. So measuring out 1 ounce, 30 ml of Aperol. Add those bittersweet orange vibes to your drink. Vibes. I don't know why I said that. I swear, I'm young. I'm only 30. Then we're adding mezcal, 1 ounce, 30 ml. So add some smoky, vegetal, earthy characters, some more intensity to that sweet liqueur. We have some fresh lime juice. This is actually pseudo juice. So a juice made with acids and everything. Extend your yields, extend your shelf life. You can check it out in the description or up here to make your own citrus juice. Half an ounce, 15 ml. And then the next ingredient, original recipe does call for a honey passion fruit syrup. I'm not gonna make that and then have this one ingredient that is incredibly limited to pretty much just this cocktail. So instead of half an ounce, 15 ml of passion fruit honey syrup, I'll do 1/4 ounce of each ingredient and just keep them separate. So Liber & Co. passion fruit syrup, link in the description below. So it's more like a 2-to-1 syrup. So you could possibly even just do a bar spoon because it packs punch. A lot of intensity and a lot of flavor. Then we have the honey syrup, which my wife made, so I don't know the ratio of this honey syrup. It feels like a 1-to-1. She doesn't even know the ratio. I think she just estimated. It seems like a 1-to-1. So therefore, 1/4 ounce, 7.5 ml, add ice and shake. She doesn't even know. This is a really good fitting shirt. Quite like it. I'll serve this over pebble ice. She is pretty. I love the color that the Aperol imparts on a drink. It's beautiful. So with the Surfside Sips, go to surfsidesips.com and use the coupon code STB20 for 20% off site-wide. Garnish it with some pineapple fronds, and it's a good looking drink. I really like that. The Acre Bird. It's a fun looking drink and it's incredibly simple, easy ratios to remember. Cheers. That is very, very delicious. This is a really good cocktail. It is on the sweeter side, but that comes with the combination of the honey, the passion fruit, and the Aperol. There is a fair amount of sugar in the Aperol. So it is a sweeter style of cocktail, but it's tasty. That bitterness, kind of like the citrus and the bitterness balances out that sugar content. That is fun. I really like it, and my wife will absolutely love it. Let's get on to cocktail number 2. All right, before I start this next cocktail, I have to say that's a sharp looking shirt, Stavros. Where'd you get it? I was actually gonna ask you the same thing. Don't tell me. Tailor Store. These guys have been a game changer for me. Being 6'8", trying to find shirts that aren't crop tops has been an absolute nightmare. And their whole process is so simple. No measuring tape needed, just use their online system. I customize everything with the shirt, the collar, the cuffs, I even picked the fabric. Same here, and you know what's crazy? My first order wasn't quite right and they just adjusted my fit preferences and sent me a replacement at no cost. A service like that explains why over 300,000 people have used Tailor Store. And I love the fact that they own their own production facility and they don't make your shirt until after you order it. So you get quality custom clothes at a price that actually makes sense. Absolutely, I'll never go back to off-the-rack shopping. Get 25% off the next order by following the link in the description below or head to tailorstore.com/SteveTheBartender. And speaking of perfect fits, let's try this Aperol and cherry combo. This one sounds awesome and I'm very excited to try it. It's a cherry Aperol Spritz. It's frozen. So my wife found a recipe and we kind of tweaked it a little bit. The original recipe was just essentially an Aperol Spritz in a blender and throw some cherries in with soda and prosecco, which putting a carbonated drink or bubbles of prosecco into a blender, I don't know, seems kind of weird. So what we're going to do is we're going to take out the soda water and replace it with orange juice to give it more orangey flavor, but also just more flavor rather than adding dilution, because once you blend the hell out of it in this thing, that carbonation is just going to be... So potentially if you have an open bottle of white wine in the fridge, then you can use that as opposed to the prosecco, because blending it will just remove that effervescence. But potentially, maybe it won't. Maybe you're frozen. Anyways, let's get onto it.
Let's talk about the moment.
less talky. 2 ounces, 60 milliliters of Aperol. Yeah, Aperol and cherry. This sounds good, really good. And then we have our prosecco, our finest prosecco that we could get a hold of. How much was this, Kat? How much was it?
I don't know.
Tell me how much it was. It was $8. Zonin. It was $3. That's incredibly cheap. So I'm going to measure this. 90 ml, 3 ounces. And then fresh orange. Give it a little juice. Oh. Butchered. Damn. Roughly an ounce, 30 ml. That's a little bit extra. A little bit of xantham gum, completely optional, but it'll add to the texture of your frozen drinks and help it from separating in the baking section. That was a 1/4 teaspoon, which I think is on the heavier end. Fingers crossed. And of course, it's a cherry Aperol Spritz, so don't forget your cherries. 1 cup, roughly. And just under a cup of pebble ice. I am using frozen cherries in there that make sure that they have been pitted as well, FYI. And I can always add more ice if need be. Perfect. Into a big fish bowl. Beautiful. That looks intense. Love the intensity of the color of this drink. Good flavor too. Sweet, summery, really bright and juicy. Before I put this blender away, let's make the couche. The couche? The couche. Couche. Let's make the couche. Should I start again? No. All right. We have a blanco tequila. I'm using Espolon because that's all I have. And it's not bad for cocktails. It's good tequila for cocktails. 1 ounce, 30 ml of your favorite blanco tequila. And then we have Aperol, bit of sweet liqueur, orangey, grapefruity, kind of fun notes. 3/4 ounce, 22.5 ml of Aperol. Then we're going a little bit of gentian liqueur, gentian aperitivo, whatever you want to call it. 1/4 ounce, 7.5 ml. Just a touch. Gives that little kind of woody, earthy character to it. Quite like Suze. It's the common bittering agent in bitters. So I've been playing around with it quite a lot lately. 1/2 ounce, 15 ml of fresh lime juice. And then we have passion fruit. The original recipe called for passion fruit juice, 1/2 ounce. Is that a thing? Like, I mean, passion fruit pulp, passion fruit puree. Is passion fruit juice just the puree? I don't know. Some people buy like bottled passion fruit juice. Is that what it is? I don't know. So many questions. Oh, I don't know about blending. It's gonna get the pulp and the pip and it's gonna get gritty. No, I don't want to see what happens. So the original plan was to just put the passion fruit pulp into the blender, but then you're gonna blitz up the seeds and you're gonna have all these gritty black bits in your teeth. It's gonna be gross. So I'm gonna make my own passion fruit juice, which I would just call passion fruit puree, yeah? Passion fruit juice. Then freshly squeezed orange juice, 3/4 ounce, 22.5 ml. Ice and blend. That looks pretty. I would really like to garnish it with 1/2 a passion fruit, but recipe calls for tahini. Ooh. And lime oil. I'm gonna go lime oil. Recipe doesn't call for it. Little baby. There we have the couche. A fun blend of tequila and Aperol, a little bit of Suze, that gentian liqueur. I have had tequila and Aperol before and it's a great combination. The Dead Man's Handle. I think my wife picked that cocktail out back in like 2020. It's an old recipe. I'll link to it up here because it's a great drink and it's been shared lots of times. People really enjoy it because it's a good combo. Cheers. Now, there is a bit of separation in this one, as you can see on camera, because I didn't use the xantham gum. So I'm getting quite a little bit of the passion fruit juice on the bottom. That's good. The passion fruit comes through really nice and punchy. I think it's sweet, it's light, because it's a frozen cocktail, so therefore you got that extra dilution. I would actually like to bump up some ingredients, potentially all of them. More tequila, more Aperol, more gentian. Probably more so the Aperol and gentian. Adds more complexity and bitterness. The Suze gets lost in it. I think it's a good drink, don't get me wrong, but I think I'd play with it a little bit. Fun. So there is a drink called the Mosquito, which is by Sam Ross. It's an equal parts cocktail. He comes from Attaboy. Now this one here is a riff called the Maverick. So we've got Aperol, gin, ginger syrup, and lemon juice, all in equal parts. Nice and easy. 3/4 ounce, 22.5 ml of each. So the original cocktail, the Mosquito, is based with Campari instead of Aperol and mezcal instead of gin. So smoky and more bitter. Whereas this is a little bit lighter. And then we have the 3/4 ounce, 22.5 ml of gin. Threefold distilling gin is the dry gin that we make there. The original recipe does call for a sweetened ginger juice, which is just ginger syrup, but it's a 1-to-1 ratio, or it's very similar to a 1-to-1 ratio. Whereas this is more like a 2-to-1. So whilst the original recipe is a equal part cocktail, 3/4 ounce, I'm going to lower the ginger syrup, otherwise it will be too sweet, down to 1/2 ounce, 15 ml. Liber & Co.'s fiery ginger syrup, which has a real nice kick to it. Fresh lemons, well, not lemons, not plural, just one. I hope you can get enough juice from one. Let's get my beastie juicer. 3/4 ounce, 22.5 ml. And then 6 to 8 mint leaves. Now you can garnish this with a candied piece of ginger, but who has that on hand? So I'm just gonna leave it ungarnished. Thought about doing mint sprig or a mint leaf at least, but no, I'm gonna leave it like this. Make sure you double strain, otherwise you'll get all those little mint particles in your drink. The Maverick, cheers. My fine straining wasn't very good because there's a fair bit of mint in here, but I really like that. That's a fun drink. And this is going to encourage me to try the original, the Mosquito. The ginger, I'm very, very glad that I lowered that to 1/2 ounce instead of 3/4, because that's the perfect ratios for Liber & Co.'s ginger syrup. Really nice tingle, fieriness on the tongue. And it plays, ginger and Aperol plays surprisingly well together. The citrus and the mint just brightens it up, makes it a little bit more summery, a bit more fun. Cool drink. I like this. Equal part cocktails, they're my jam. Now, last but not least is the Basil Betty, where we're combining gin, Aperol, and basil. Aperol and basil sounds pretty weird to me, but I'm keen to give it a shot. 2 ounces, 60 ml of dry gin, Threefold dry gin I'm using, and add that straight in. Has anyone tried Aperol with basil before? Don't think I have. Out of all the drinks, this probably has the least amount of Aperol. So 1/2 ounce, 15 ml, just a little kiss. Nice little bitter citrus twist. And then a full ounce, 30 ml of 1-to-1 simple syrup. This one is a little bit heavier on the sweet and sour components, but this one's served over pebble ice, so it will dilute it down a little bit. So fresh lemon juice, 1 ounce, 30 ml. And add a small sprig of basil leaves before adding ice and shaking. I've got a lot of fine basil pieces in there, so double strain. And then garnish with a sprig of basil. There we have the Basil Betty, which is a creation of my wife, Kat. So she came across a basil daisy, which was just the same recipe but with vodka. So she subbed out the vodka because she wanted the characters of gin. She wanted juniper and that dry spirit rather than being a neutral flavor. Yeah, Basil Betty. Clever name. Cheers. Yeah, that's fun. Really nice and bright, herbaceous, beautiful aromatics on the nose from the basil. I mean, if you like a basil smash, you will absolutely love this. That slight little tweak, just that little bit of Aperol added into it, that bittersweet, citrus, orange, a little bit more complexity to it. This one's fantastic, and it might actually be my favorite summer Aperol cocktail. Gin, Aperol, basil, works really, really well. Cheers.